Thank you, everyone. Good morning. Welcome. This is our second annual Housing Design Summit. We grew it 50% from last year, so we're on a good trend here. And what I want to do today is set the stage for why we're here, what I'm hoping you accomplish, and what our firm is hoping to accomplish out of this. So we came up with a tagline where we're calling it where great design, great research, and profitability. And we talk about great design, we talk about the beauty of it and the functionality of it. We had one of the presenters last year get up here and say, here was the home of the year at the Nationals. Beautiful. We sold 2. And here's the home next door that's more functional that we sold 25 and is actually smaller but ended up being more expensive by the time it was done. So a lot of the design awards are about beautiful, but we're about functional as well here. And then our team is extremely biased in this regard. We're supporting the decisions you're going to have to make with some great research, both quantitative and qualitative, and we'll share some of that during the course of the next day and a half. And then the ultimate goal here is getting it all funded too. So hopefully we've got a lot of revenue, less expenses, and profitability. And as we heard from a lot of you, nobody was really putting all the design talent in a room. We have some of the private equity people here too. The building products clients of ours told us, I've actually never talked to a home builder. This is a true story, and they're not here, so I'll share it. But there was a company in Chicago, a building products company, that I met with about 6 months ago. I met with the leader of their R&D department, and he had 100 people in R&D. And he said, well, we're trying to design this product that the builders will use and the architects will spec. And I said, which architects are you talking to spec it? And he looked at me like, and he could not name one production builder architect. Yet he had 100 people in R&D in a building products company. So the industry's operating in silos, and we're going to fix that. So this is our journey to today. And in 2013, the market was coming back. Chris Porter and I said, nobody's making sense of these demographic shifts. We're going to do it. We invested 9,000 hours in a research project on demographics that resulted in a book that we published 2.5 years ago called Big Shifts Ahead. Then in 2014, we met with, it kind of cut off there. That's weird. Is Howard here? Where's Howard? Right here. So Howard Englander, many of you know, a design legend, started a service called Design Lens many years ago to bring what's innovative and inspirational design to the rest of the industry because people didn't have time to go out and see everything else. Well, it went dormant during the downturn, and he turned it over to us in 2014. And since then, we've added 450 projects, some really cool designs. We'll talk about that. Then in 2015, we were able to get into some data and say, well, by price range in every submarket, we can figure out by generation born, by life stage, how much activity there is, where the growth is, and we can help you on the demand side there. Then in 2016, this was the third year we'd done this, but it was the biggest launch we had, where we partnered with 30 builders and developers and asked more than 100 questions of new home shoppers, what are you looking for in a home? And got more than 20,000 responses, and then we updated it with an even bigger sample size in 2017. So our consulting team is now able to drill down and help settle some of the arguments you may be having internally. Should we be emphasizing the school? Should we be emphasizing the pool? Well, we can get down into what the consumers in this area are telling us they value. And then last year, this was the first year where we put all the talent in a room. It was a great event. I learned a lot. And then that brings us to this year, which we're rebranding Design Lens to be less about a product and more about a membership, because that's what we're hearing is, John, there's this thing called Houzz and Pinterest. I can go online and I can see what's trending. And we do have the chief economist of Houzz who has access to a database I'm extremely jealous of, who will share that with us later. but we're now bringing you 8 new communities every month, 6 new communities, or 72 new home communities a year, 12 master plans, 12 historic neighborhoods. We've got more than 100 master plans in 100 historic neighborhoods with analysis. That's what makes this different, is we've taken the photographs, and they're real photographs, they're not doctored photographs, and making sense of it for you. But what we heard from a lot of you is what I want is a network. I want an unparalleled network of collaborating executives from all geographies and disciplines, and if you look around the room, that's exactly who we have here today. We have redesigned the old website. I was hoping it was going to be ready for today. It's not quite, you know how website budgets go. But it's mobile friendly. I'm going to have Jenny show a little bit of it, where you can do things you can't do online, where you can look up densities and you can find the architect who built it and ask him a question, or him or her a question. And then also a first-class service. If it's not in Designlands, hopefully we can find it. We have consultants all over the country. We did more than 600 feasibility studies last year, so I'm not sure how many floor plans we walked through, but thousands and thousands, and we can help you find what you're looking for. And then this conference today, which I'm hoping is going to be an inspirational education and networking session for all of you. I'm modeling it after what the ULI councils are all about. We don't have sponsors, so we have to charge a lot of money to break even, but by charging a lot of money to be here, we also don't get the brand new person coming here for education. We get executives, and so that's who we have in the room. So I wanted to just give you one piece from the demographics book and quantify it. So this is the number of people in the United States color-coded by decade born, so you can find your decade down there somewhere. And from the 1950s through the 2000s, they're 39 million to 45 million in size. And that shaded piece on the top means they were born in another country. What this is telling us is there's 6% more renters coming our way, 11% more entry-level buyers coming our way. This is just simple math. And we can have an argument about, is it going to be this year or next year, and can they afford it? But they're there. 7% fewer move-up buyers, which has been one of the biggest challenges in this industry, because the industry spent 20 years selling move-up homes to baby boomers and doing it really, really well, and now the demand has pivoted away from move-up homes. 2% more empty nesters, and here's the huge opportunity, 34% more people turning 65 with all of the home designs in the country pretty much built for young families and not for them. And so that I think is a massive opportunity. Then we've also drilled down into these groups to break them out into 9 homeowner life stages. And then with the help of Steve Birch and Sidney Pell and Catherine Gard, and the budgetary and psychographic differentiations within each. So young single buyers are 15% of all the home buyers out there. My demographer tells me that does include couples that are not married, so you got to get into all the differentiation things here. Single parents are 8% of all buyers. Mature singles are 12%. Young couples, 9% of all buyers, so that would be married. There'd be a few couples who are unmarried in that single category. Empty nesters by 11% of all the homes in the country. And this can vary a lot by geography. In Orange County, where I'm from, they're 20% of the buying population. And then active adults, 19% of the buyers. So you see, not only are they a big number, and there's a notion that people are staying in their homes, and there is an element of truth to that, they're 19% of all the home buying activity in the country right now. Young families, 19%. So when you've got that first kid, you got to buy something. Family Plus, which is a category we created where you have young kids and teenagers, are 4%. And then mature families, where the only children you have in the house are teenagers, is 3%, actually a smaller number than I would have thought. You add it up, and singles are 35% of the market. Married or retired with no kids is 39% of the market. And families are 26%. If you throw the single parent into that, you're up to 34%. That's some segmentation. They're not looking for the same thing at all. And so I'll show you in a minute what I asked Jenny to do to reach into Design Lens to give you some good examples, but I wanted to tee this up with how things are changing. So first-time buyers are bigger than ever and better educated than ever. And one of the things our consulting team has really educated me on is our entry-level buyer tends to be, or a new home buyer tends to be something we call a DICE buyer, which is dual income, college educated, DICE. So we are selling a lot of entry-level homes to pretty affluent people because they're 32 and they both went to college. The move-up buyers, we have the lowest number in decades, and it's even lower than I showed you on the demographics, because with the rising interest rates, they're more likely to already be homeowners with a 3.5% mortgage rate, and it's hard to get them out of the house when they've got such a great rate. We actually think there's going to be 700,000 more remodels this year because interest rates have moved from 3.5 to 4.5. That's the math on the number of people who are going to stay put and remodel rather than move. And then retiree buyers bigger than ever and more of a workaholic than ever. When Del Webb got started in the 1960s, it was based on some consumer research that people wanted to get away from their families in retirement. I wanted to go play golf in Arizona and Florida. I spent my whole life raising these people, and now I want away from them. Now the people they want away from are into that age, and they said, I spent my whole life working. I want to now spend some time with the kids and the grandkids. So it's a completely different buyer. And they're shopping differently. And this is something that we've been harping on quite a bit. The new home market is usually 15% of all the home buying activity in the country. Today it's 10%. I mean, we haven't regained the market share that we want, and there's a lot of reasons for that. But one of the reasons I think, and this is a screenshot from my phone, actually, from the Woodlands, if you go searching on the Woodlands, all the apps and the smartphones are teed up really nicely to sell you a resale home and not a new home. You'll get into Zillow, and I know they're adding some new home features, but you can find a real home with a real price that you can move into on a real date, and you just can't do that on new homes. They also, and I blacked out the name of this builder, but you could substitute the name of any builder. People go online to see if they're going to make a major purchase. Well, let's see what other people think about this major purchase. And I challenge you to put in the name of any home builder and the word reviews and see what pops up. This is a top 5 builder, rated 1.1 out of 1 on a scale of 1 to 5 with 53 reviews. Most of them are under 2. Now, we can say, well, there's only the complainers that go online. I'm like, yeah, that's true, but that's true for every product, frankly. There's a lot of work to be done here, and I would say advantage to the resale market. But there's also a big opportunity is to educate people on how great a new home is, on some of the energy efficiencies. Here's one of Thrive Homes communities in Denver that I know Ken's done some research on and is garnering a premium for better energy efficiency and better quality of life. We just need to educate the consumer that a new home is that. And then construction is changing too. So when I was up, the presentation I gave here last year, I showed a number of things and people kind of scoffed. And I particularly find the architects scoff. But here's a wake-up call. So I showed this photo. This is a home that was fully permitted in Austin, Texas, that was built in 24 hours with a crane at a material cost of less than $10,000 a year ago. I'm never going to live in that. In the last 12 months, D.R. Horton invested in this company called Icon, and just yesterday, and here's what it looks like on the inside. And just yesterday, the Wall Street Journal announced that they now have a printer. This is it. Actually, Ben Carson, the chairman of HUD, just toured it and said this is a complete game changer for housing. It's 33 feet long by 15 feet wide, and it can build a 2,000 square foot house in 3 days. In concrete. Yeah, now this is not a luxury move-up home yet, but this is what is going on outside of the industry. I also showed this home, which was actually designed by a home builder called Tesla, which is all solar. And then this year we have somebody from Tesla who's going to be one of our panelists, and they'll tell you a little bit about changing the game there. We're also capitalizing on the shift to high density, and 30 years ago when I got into this industry, I never would have thought this would happen. Every city we went into wanted fewer homes per acre. Now every city we go into wants more homes per acre. It's a more efficient use of land. It's more taxable income with more residents per acre. Cities want high density. The consumers want it because one of the big changes, we did a whole chapter on this in the book, is that with the rise of dual income college educated people, there is a decline in the percentage of households where one is staying at home and one is commuting for an hour. People need to be closer. And yeah, it's more expensive to be closer, but higher density closer gets me better affordability in that desirable location. And then our industry wants it because there's less risk in a great location than there is in an outlying location, and more homes per acre means more revenue per acre. So here's some examples from the last 3 months that Jenny pulled together from Design Lens. And so hopefully you're having a chance to go through these, and if not, and I know everybody's busy, there's always a chance to go back and look into them or call Jenny or one of us to say, hey, help me find what I'm looking for. But here's a product for a young single buyer at Center House by Truemark Homes in California. It's designed to be attainable and charming. It's smaller homes with smaller square footage, all in the right places, small yards and covered decks. Here's something we featured that's going after the single parents. It's in Chula Vista, California, which is south of San Diego, right near the border. And you see some of these areas that I would have considered to be commuter markets now having more of this, we call it suburban, which is bringing the best of urban to the suburbs. And it's exactly what people want. There's smaller homes that feel bigger, small functional yards, some walkability to retail. Here's a product or design, I should say, that works well with mature singles. It's by Meridian Communities, also in Chula Vista. Dramatic modern elevations, a penthouse flat with elevator access for single level living, spacious decks. Young couples now, 9% of buyers. This is from the Washington, D.C. metro area by Van Meter Homes. Elegant contemporary take on traditional style. Open floor plans that feel bigger than they are. Flexible layouts, again, roof decks. This is how people are getting their outdoor living in a high density environment. Empty nesters, this is from Plano, Texas, 2- and 3-story homes that provide a low maintenance lifestyle, dramatic contemporary elevations, entertainment-centric floor plans. Moving on to retirement, I was in this house actually a few months ago in Daytona Beach. This is Margaritaville by Minto Communities. Vibrant, laid-back beach lifestyle. Many of the homes are designed for entertainment. The price is only $240,000. Young family buyers, here we're going to hear from Adrian Foley later, but this is something Brookfield did in Ontario Ranch, California. Charming traditional elevations, but you can see the home next door. It is high density. Good bedroom count for a smaller home. That's what this buyer wants, and a ground floor bedroom in each home, which a percentage of the buyers were looking for that as well. Family Plus, this is Star Trail by Toll Brothers in Prosper, Texas. High bedroom counts with ensuite bathrooms desired by a blended family. Wide range of spaces to entertain, large backyards. And then the mature family buyer, here's something, I think a lot of you toured this last year on the tour. We had the Design Summit up in Denver, and you saw the Infinity homes there. I heard a lot of comments about that, their homes, but they're spacious with open great rooms, lots of gathering spaces within the house, a very high bedroom count with private bathrooms. This is what you can find in Design Lens. So I gave Jenny just a minute or two to show you some highlights of how you're going to be able to use this, and turn it over to you, Jenny.
Thank you, John. So we're very excited to finally get to share the new website with you guys. It's been a labor of love with Richard and I for about a year now. So we wanted to show you guys just a sneak peek of all the exciting stuff. So as you can see, oh good. As you guys can see, we have a new landing page. We created a fresh new look, giving you guys, instead of just a login, but something fresh and getting to learn a little bit about the project. A little bit more about Design Lens and kind of how it can help you guys. You can actually check out features. So instead of being limited to having to log in or talk to me, you can actually check out what we're doing on the site and what you guys can learn. And then we're very excited to roll out, we have a new blog. So we'll be able to add not just the features as content on the site, but also be able to add extra content. So whether that's, if they let us, links to videos of our webinars, new trend papers we're looking at, as well as additional blog content. Oop, I'm jumping ahead. So new dashboard landing page when you log in. So you'll see the 8 projects as John had mentioned. But instead of seeing just project names, we're now giving you a little bit more information about the project at a glance. So a headline to kind of give you that sense of what you're looking at, and then a little bit of information on where it's located and the project name. And then if we jump into one of the features, as you can see, there's a whole new look to the features when you jump into them. It's a dashboard, and you'll see as I scroll down. But you start with the photo where you can easily jump into the tour that we've created for you guys. But then you also, as you can see, immediately can see the thumbnails and be able to, or thumbnail view pictures, and then be able to jump into and filter them. So you can easily jump to the floor plans or outdoor spaces and check out, hey, what's going on here? And let me see something at a glance. And then as you can see, that headline view came back. And then these bullet points are kind of why we featured this project, what are the great key takeaways, and then a little bit of information about it, some of those key stats you guys are looking for. And by the way, it's net density, because we're big on how do you guys apply it to the site better. And then the consultants and the map. And then jumping to, last but not least, our search. We are incredibly excited about the new search. Not only can, as before, you can search by project, image, or floor plan, but now it's really categorized, as you can see. You can jump into searching for floor plans, images, or projects. And there's this typical stuff for a project that you'd want to search for: density, lot size, home size, but then also site planning. So if it's alley loaded or cluster, segmentation, who are these homes designed for? Who are they catering to? Instead of move up, move down. As we know, I can't tell you how many times I'm doing interviews and everybody goes, oh, it's a move up and move down. We're getting both. I'm going, okay. So we shifted the segmentation to life stage. As you can see the project tags, you can look for something that has multi-gen, private elevators, basements. And then if you start clicking into it, like say you wanted to look at attached, you'll watch the projects at the right start filtering down. So you can easily see how your search choices are affecting things. And then say we wanted to go down to alley loaded. So as you can see, now I'm down to 9 projects. And I can really dig into, okay, now this is more what I want. I'm not just having to live with digging through kind of a bigger amount of projects. And then as you can see, you can easily jump into the project you're looking for. And I won't take up any more time. So that's our sneak peek.
Thanks, Jenny. I told Richard and Jenny going into this, I'm budgeting an extra 6 months, and I didn't budget enough. So enough of me, because you really are here to learn from each other and our panelists. And I was going through the attendee list. I think we could have every single one of you up here on a panel for 30 minutes to an hour, and we could learn a lot from all of you. So hopefully the networking here is going to be the most valuable component for you. The 2 days of agenda, this is our style, is we get a bunch of smart people and we basically give them 5 minutes. So you're probably going to take a lot of notes and you're going to learn a lot. I break the agenda up into 2 pieces, really. We have some trends to make you smarter than the competition. If you don't walk away from here smarter than everybody else who's not in here, I'm going to be very disappointed. Please let me know if that's the case. Design trends. Nino's got access to what is going on and what is being favorited with 40 million registered housed users. She's going to share some of that. Retirees trends. It's margaritas now instead of golf. Family proximity instead of family distance. Master plan community trends. We are sitting in the master plan capital of the country for the last 20 years. It has dominated all the rankings, and David Jarvis has helped us bring in some of the top developers here from Houston to talk about the trends that they're seeing. shifting consumer trends and the reasons why. So we've asked 3 of the top housing trend researchers in the world, actually, to come here and educate us on what they're seeing globally to give you more of a view of what the next 3 to 5 years is going to look like. And then architecture trends from some of the architecture visionaries you're all familiar with. And then I'm going to have Adrian Foley up here, who has completely done a reboot on his career, and I'm calling it the biggest trend of all, shifting his career to retail reuse. Brookfield just bought more than 100 malls and is redeveloping them. So I'm going to talk about a huge development opportunity. We're going to hear from Adrian on that. Techniques and collaborative learning you can use this year. So some of it's going to be trends. This is going to be a little more practical. We're going to have profitability at attainable prices. We're going to have an educational seminar. And then you guys are going to work with each other, led by Dave Costco from Basseni and Lagoni, on 2 collaborative learning sessions. We're going to talk about effective marketing in 2019 because it's not the same as 2017 even. And then we're going to have a panel on construction innovations. Is what Tesla's doing, and is what Icon is doing, and is what Katerra doing the future? Is it going to be better, faster, and cheaper? New rental homes. 12% of America rents a single-family home, and we have never been building new homes designed for rent. That is now changed. There are currently 20 actively under construction single-family rental communities just in Phoenix. And we're going to hear from some of the experts there. And it's a different model. You don't sell the home, you get an income stream when you're done. Great opportunity, and you're finding some of the builders now, or particularly public builders, are hitting their month end and quarter end by selling some of the homes in their subdivisions to these groups as well. And then one of the biggest takeaways I had from last year was just how much research and knowledge the building products industrial designers have that is not being shared with the developers and home builders and architects. And so we got a chance to meet some of them up here, but there's a lot more of them in the room. And our business is actually really growing quite nicely in the building products arena. I think there'll be a lot more of those companies here next year. So here's who we're going to feature. So we have 2 recording artists. You can see Catherine Torini busy over here recording everything in a very creative way, and we will share that with all of you. In fact, I think we need to have a raffle for some of those when we're done so people can take them home. So they're spread across our office in Irvine, and we're out of space. So, and then all of this is being recorded by Lisa Parrish's company, PMP. You're probably familiar with Lisa. It's not just recording. She is a judge for the Nationals Awards. She runs most of the award ceremonies for design around the country. She's sitting back up there making sure I got 2 minutes and 11 seconds left to go, keeping me on time. But just a tremendous wealth of knowledge. And frankly, if you want somebody to call like, hey, I have an idea, Lisa, if not Jenny. 4 trend forecaster presenters. Max Luthia is here from Trend Watching. We've been subscribing to his research for a while, and he's going to get up right after me. Susan Yasinski is back after popular demand from last year to help understand what the consumer trends are, to boil it down for our industry. I mentioned Nino from House. And then Renee LeBay, who just did a webinar for those of you that subscribe to Design Lens, which I think is most of you, and has just published a couple books. She actually comes out of the fashion industry, but has been focused on housing recently. She's helping companies pick the color of the year, those sorts of things. She'll bring these trends alive for you. We have 8 market research moderators. 7 of them are our team members, and the other is on my board of advisors. I've come from Houston, New York, San Diego, Denver, Raleigh, Wisconsin, very geographically diversified, some of the building products background, some of the consumer insights background, some of the financial background, some of the master plan developer background. 5 architect presenters and a lot more architects in the room. 4 the building products design presenters from Tesla, BMC, which has the Ready Frame product that I think a lot of you are using, Mohawk with the interiors, and particularly the flooring, and Kohler. 4 developers, as I mentioned, Johnson Development, which dominates the master plan top sales rankings year in and year out nationally. They usually have 5 master plans in the top 20. We're sitting in a Howard Hughes master plan today, but they have a lot of other things going on. The New Home Company, which is very well known for its homes, but has actually done 4 master plans this cycle. And then Newland, which is the largest geographically diversified master plan developer in the country and does more consumer research, I think, than anybody in our industry. And then 8 home builder presenters, Adrian Foley from Brookfield, Bill Bullock from Minto, Corolla from TrueMark, who's just building some amazing homes and pushing some density solutions in California, CR Hero. A lot of these folks have been featured on our podcast recently, so you've heard from some of them, Matt, Rebecca, Will, and Rhett. And then we are going to talk about single-family rental. Jonathan Ellenswig, whose company owns almost 20,000 single-family rental homes. Nick Leonard, who last year at this conference picked up some of the single-family rental companies as clients and has been designing some of the homes for them. And then Next Metro, which is the fastest-growing single-family rental company in the country. And then we're going to do some roundtables. And that's just who I'm going to have up here. All of these home builders have additional, if they're not on the panel, they have additional folks in the room, additional developers, additional building products companies, additional architects and design experts. I mean, we've got it wired. So with that, I'm going to introduce Max Luthi. Max, come on up. Thank you.